What's going on, guys? Today we're going to do a how-to video. I'm going to do a how-to on these catfish jugs. You can see it's not really a jug, it's PVC with a pool noodle on it. But it's got a counterweight system in it, so when you place it in the water, set it up, it'll be sitting like this. When the fish hits it, it's going to stand up like that. That way you can just look down through there and see when you got one. So we'll get into this and I'll show you how it's done. Alright guys, the first thing we're going to do is get a piece of 1/2 inch PVC. You just use thin wall. We're going to mark this about 2 foot. You can do it however you want. I got these in 10-foot sections though, so if I do them 2 foot even, then I can get 5 out each one. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those off and chop it off at 2 foot each. All right, after you get your PVC cut, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing for a piece of bar. This is 1/2 inch bar, and this is 1/2 inch PVC. You just wanna check whatever size stuff you end up going with and make sure that that bar fits freely inside the PVC. It slides easily. And you wanna get about the biggest size that will fit in there and move freely so that you get the weight out of it. But we're gonna cut this bar about 2.5 inches. That should give us plenty of weight to sink that and hold that upright once we get a fish on there that tags it. So we'll go ahead and measure this to 2.5 inches, cut those off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I went ahead and stuck those in a bucket of water to go ahead and speed up the cooling process. And if you speed through it like I did, then you'll have these little burrs on there. And we're gonna go ahead and put this in a vise, hit it with a file. What I like to do is go ahead and knock that edge off anyway, the flat edge. That way it'll have a bevel on it, so when it's sliding, it'll just slide a little bit easier. There's nothing that can hang up on it. And also, don't use the chop saw with no safety glasses like I was doing. I was shutting my eyes. Don't do that. Just get safety glasses. Anyway, we'll go ahead and put these in the vise and smooth them out real quick so they'll slide better. Okay, once you get that done, you should have something that looks, let's see if I can get the camera to focus on it. No, whatever. It's round. Take my word for it. It's got a little bevel on it. You can also, if you have access to one, you can use a grinder. I'm probably gonna use a grinder on the rest of these because I have one, but I just wanted to show what you would do if you didn't have access to it, because a lot of people don't have it. So anyway, we're gonna do the rest of these and then we'll move on. All right, next thing we're gonna do, each one has 2 caps. One cap needs a hole in it because it's gonna have this eye through it. So if you're doing this assembly line style, don't get carried away and start drilling all your caps, because only one of them for each one needs a hole in it. So just size up the bolt end of it with the correct drill bit. You want it to just fit through there. It's even better if it's the right size where you have to screw it in a little bit. But we're gonna screw half of our caps that we bought and go ahead and drill those out so that we can put our eyelet through it. So we'll get that done real quick. Okay, once we have all our holes drilled in there, mine fit just so that I have to thread it in a little bit. That's probably gonna be good enough to keep it watertight, but we're not gonna take any chances on that. Over time, it may loosen up. So I've got some silicone. I'm just gonna dab on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and put a washer on both sides of this, so to help give that silicone something to seal to. If your hole didn't end up quite straight and when you thread it in, it goes off to an angle, it's fine. You can just take a screwdriver and bump it in. Like I said, we're gonna put the silicone in there anyway, so if it opens that hole up a little bit, it's no big deal. So we'll go ahead and get all these threaded in and put our silicone in. Washer. Chickens next door if y'all can hear that. All right, see, this actually, once it's threaded in, it's a little sideways. I'm not gonna be able to get the nut on there like that. So just take it and pry it a little bit so it straightens it up. This is just some all-purpose silicone. Squirt some down in there. It's clear, so I can't really see how much is going in there. But the more the merrier. Once you have your silicone in there, put your other washer on. Can't reach that nut to start it, so. Oops. Well, if I can get the nut right on there.
It's not really cooperating.
There it goes. There it goes. All right. Let me just snug this up. Just stick a screwdriver in there. Just give me something to pull against. Doesn't have to be super tight, but just want to snug it up pretty good. Got a little silicone squirting out there, so you know we got it good. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Next step is the pool noodles. I was looking to go about 14 inches on these with the 24-inch jug, whatever you want to call it. But I measured these out, and if I do them all 13¼ inches, then I'll use the whole thing and they'll all be exactly the same, so it'll look good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll measure these out and cut them. Okay, once you cut the pool noodles up, all that's left to do is just assemble it. You see we've got a lot of pieces here. One thing is, don't forget to put your weight in when you're gluing these together, because we're going to use rubber cement, and once we get it set, we don't have to, you can get it back off, but we don't have to deal with that. So don't forget to put your weight in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put my pool noodle over mine. This is not one of the split pool noodles. It's solid, so I'm going to go ahead and slide that over before I glue the second end on also. And these pool noodles I'll show you after I get done, but the hole's actually a little bit too big. I didn't want to go to another store and look for another one. You can get some that'll fit tighter, but since mine don't, I'm just going to use zip ties on there. Put a couple zip ties and tighten it up just a little bit, because I want it, the weight, or the float, excuse me, to stay on that one side, offset of the side that's going to go in the water. So I don't want it getting messed up. So if it's out there floating around in the lake, there's waves or whatever, it may shift and then it won't trip like it's supposed to. And after all, that's why we're doing this, is because it looks cool when it trips, right? I mean, we could just use a jug, but we'll go ahead and put these together real quick and then we'll be done. Okay, we've got all our pieces laid out. I put some paper towel down because I don't know about you, but I cannot use rubber cement, especially with primer, without getting it everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime the ends here and we'll glue everything on. Primer's probably not even necessary for this. I'm not a plumbing expert, don't really know, but anyway, we're gonna use it just in case. Just a little bit on there. Put this thing on. Alright, once that's on there, go ahead and slide this noodle on. Don't let it get in your glue and get stuck on there. It's not a big deal if it does, but put your weight in. Don't forget your weight. Set that there. See, I just got it everywhere. Literally, just can't see it, but it's everywhere. I don't know what's wrong with me. I missed my paper towel and everything. All right. Let's glue this last end on. Now, that's what I was telling you. There's a lot of slack in this. You can see that. So this moves way too easy. It's okay if it can slide, if it's possible to make it slide. You don't have to glue it on or anything. I was actually considering gluing mine on, but I wanted to leave it until I get them out on the water and really play with it a little bit and see exactly where it needs to be at on the PVC. I didn't want it to be permanent, so for now I'm just going to use zip ties and probably just leave them on, honestly. There's no reason to change it after that. So we'll get some zip ties and put those on real quick. All right, we have our zip ties on there. I'm gonna slide this down. This is the end that your line's gonna hang off of. I'm gonna slide it down to probably right here. It's not all the way at the end, but it's mostly at the end. I think that'll be good enough for that weight to sit over there. When you're snugging this up, if you use zip ties like I'm doing, on it, eventually you're gonna pull too hard and it's gonna rip that noodle. So it's not going super snug. I just want it where it doesn't slide quite as easily. Just tighten it up so you think it's good. Oh, almost good. All right, we'll cut the ends off of that. Just clean it up a little bit. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Now we'll take our line and tie on down here, and hear that? Again, when you set it in the water, it's gonna set like this. Your line hanging off of here, and you can put hooks off there, depending on where you're at, how many hooks you can put, of course. But we'll set it with the weight to this end. It'll float in the water just like that. This counterweight's this. And then when the fish hits your hook and tugs on it, that weight comes down, you hear that? And it'll stand up. So when you're driving down through there checking in your boat, you don't have to go pull every one of them. You can just look and see which one's standing up. And may not have a fish on it, but it at least got hit. So you may need to check your bait and rebait anyway. So that's all there is to it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is my first time making these, and to do all this with filming, which I'm also not good at, it took 20 minutes maybe. So it's something you can knock out real fast, especially if you have all your stuff ready to go. I'm gonna put a shopping list in the description of everything that I bought when I did it, and tell you how many it makes, so that if you want to make them exactly like this, you can. One thing I would try to find noodles that fit a little bit snugger without having to use these, but it is what it is. We can always redo that later. Anyway, if you have any questions, just drop a comment below and let me know. Appreciate it.